Well, welcome to Focus Today. Today is a very special day. It is. And I forgot all about it. That's how special it is.
That's how special it is.
Well, you were in Vegas. You don't lose things straight when you're in Vegas.
I was reminded that today is the 3rd anniversary of the Dove Morning Show, radio and television being combined live on the air.
The first time 3 years ago. That is amazing. Yep.
And I will say this as I talk to various people in our industry, and they're saying, how do you guys do that? And I go, well, I really don't know.
Well, it's gum, baling wire, and Velcro.
Yes.
Maybe duct tape.
Duct tape, yeah.
But we are, as far as I know, nobody's doing what we're doing. We are broadcasting the morning show live on two television stations, 4 FM stations, and 6 translators, soon to be 9 translators. And we've been doing that now for 3 years, and I thought, wow. And the original vision was, as I said earlier, when somebody gets up in the morning, you always turn on a device. You either go to your phone, you go to your computer, you go to your laptop, your iPad, or your tablet. You go to the radio, you go to the television. When you get in the car, it's usually the radio. When you get to work, it's usually a computer. And so our vision was to be on all of those platforms at the same time in order to be there as a point of inspiration for you when you get up and get going in the morning. And Michael Brown, who has moved back to New Zealand, and he's now heads up Shine Television there in Auckland, New Zealand. He was the young gentleman that came that had all the television experience that helped us get all this put together. And maybe you can introduce the video. I forgot about the video. I didn't even know we had this.
Yeah.
What is it?
Michael interviewed you 3 years ago. Does it ring a bell?
Ding.
Okay. Well, this video pretty much tells us the story of the Dove, not just the morning show, not just the radio, but everything that happened at the Dove from the very beginning when you guys acquired the station to 3 years ago when we went with our morning show on TV.
I forgot about that interview.
So this will take us up to the start of the show, right? 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see it.
When we took over the Dove radio in 1983, we couldn't afford a morning man. So I just got up and did it. And that's what we did. Here we are close to 29 years later, and I've still been doing the morning show. It began to grow. In fact, it grew fast, and to the point where once we started it, I knew we couldn't end it, and it went from being an hour to 2 hours, and today it's 3 hours. About 1989, 1990, back in there, where we had looked into the idea of possibly getting a television license then, and that didn't work out. And then I realized the uniqueness of the morning show provided an opportunity to create a new format for television. And then television news in itself began to do morning news, which began to grow. And I thought, could we combine the two together? Could it work? And so I think it was in the late 80s, early 90s when that vision become focused in my mind that perhaps we could do this. We had an opportunity to get one, and all of a sudden at the last minute, the seller decided to sell it to somebody else. All the doors closed, so we just kind of stopped pursuing that. I thought, well, the Lord did not want us in television, and in those days, it was all analog. It was very expensive to do, and I thought, well, the Christian television model in America was really big then, and I thought we could never compete at that level. And the opportunity to literally get a channel just wasn't coming about, so we kind of abandoned the whole idea. 2007, a gentleman called me and from Klamath Falls. He really felt like the Lord spoke to him that you're to give this television license to Perry. Well, I struggled with it because I thought, did God close the door permanently or temporarily? Because all of a sudden, here was part of our vision back on the table again, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, are we supposed to do this, or did God not want us to do that? So that was kind of going through my mind. 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Terry Atkinson. Welcome to the Dove TV. Now this is it. Today, the Dove TV launches right here on Charter TV, Channel 18. We signed on March 4th, 2010. And it was very exciting because not only did we come on UHF, we came on two charter channels, one charter channel in 2 counties, excuse me. And that was significant for an LP television station to literally sign on initially with a cable channel below the top 20. We're channel 18. I mean, the whole thing just kind of came together. It was a miracle. When we went into the news format on radio, I did it because I realized that Christians are people too. They have everyday jobs, they have everyday schedules, and could we create a program that not only met their need as they were going to work, but would be attractive to non-believers and a reliable product that they could listen in and get informed. And then the television thing, I thought, we know that television cameras have been in radio studios before. That wasn't unique, but could you take a morning drive show that was very successful on radio and make it equally successful on television and not have 2 departments doing 2 different things, literally meld all this together and make it one and come up with a new model that could be successful both on radio and television. When the television station signed on air, then the whole idea of the morning show going on air came back into focus again, and then it became a matter, could it be done? Did we have the equipment, the facility to do it? Did we have the budget to do it? Could it be done? Did we have the personnel to do it? All of those issues came back into focus. But in the back of my mind was this feeling, this is the thing to do. This is something that we should do. I went to a board meeting one day. It was like, it was a couple of months after we had the television station on the air. And I'm sitting with our board members, and we're in this board meeting. We're going through all the business of the Dove ministry. And one of our board members raised his hand. He said, Perry, I really think you ought to concentrate on putting the morning show on television. Well, we never discussed it at a board level. It was just kind of me. I had it inside of me. I never really took it to the board. And so I'm going, well, there's another confirmation. And then they started leaning on me. The whole board kind of leaned forward. Well, why aren't you taking your most valuable product and putting it on television? And in fact, they kind of made a little bit of an edict. They wanted it done right away. Well, we didn't have the funds or the means to do it right away. So it's taken us about 2 years to get to that point. When we got the award from the National Religious Broadcasters of being Television and the Station of the Year, and one of the reasons that that award was given was the uniqueness of our programming lineup. And then to add to that uniqueness, what I would consider the main ingredient, and that is to have a very interactive live morning television program. To me, it is one of the crowning moments in the history of this ministry to see it go on the air. I was taught in Bible college somewhere between the prayer and the answer, God makes the saint, and I think what's happened is from the time we first had the vision to the fulfillment of the vision, if we stayed faithful, and God stayed faithful, and we stayed faithful, it came together, and in that He made us. He made us who we are. We're ready for this. And so I think it's something that once it's up and running, it's going to be, I think it's going to be an industry pace setter. I just feel that in my heart, that God will use this not only for our sake in reaching people, but God will use this as a ways to reach a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't tune into a radio station or a television station. If we do this with a standard of excellence in the broadcasting industry and with the Christian input that really encourages people, I'm hoping that they'll feel safe to share that with other people in their lives, that they could tune in and listen. The scripture that makes all this happen for me is Romans 10:20. I was found by those who were seeking me, and I manifested myself those who didn't ask. That's what we do. We'll put it out there and then trust God to match the content of what we are doing with the person's need, and then let it go viral to reach as many people as we can. I plumb forgot about that video.
Yeah, I hadn't remembered it either till Polina said, hey, we have this. It's like, oh, yeah.
I'm sitting there looking.
Like for the first time.
Yeah, I just kind of went, whoa.
Well, that was 3 years ago.
Isn't it interesting though to see, like, you talk about us going on TV and starting the morning show and kind of having those hopes and dreams that this will be a pace, kind of a setter and an anchor for others. And now 3 years later, here we are, new building, several awards, and still getting letters and feedback from people that they're still needed.
It's stunning. That video kind of put my brain on tilt because it's true. All of that is true. When we think about these things, and from the time you pray about them, think about them until they actually mature, takes time. And I just want to encourage you, whatever you're involved in, whatever your dream is, whatever you feel like God's called you to do. I think one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in your life, anybody, is this one: when to quit or when to keep going. And that's a big decision. You're going to be. We all deal with it, whatever the situation is. You come to a point: do you stop or do you keep going? And I can tell you this: we did this with no budget. We did this with absolutely no money in the bank. Everything that you see here was done by taking a risk, or risk is a new word for faith. You know, how do you spell faith? R-I-S-K. And you go for it, and God honors it. And so 3 years, I can't believe it's been that long.
I think sometimes when the doors close or when we face obstacles, we think, well, God must not want us to do this. This is His sign. But I really, really believe that sometimes He just wants to see how bad we want it. And you and Peggy and the Dove staff has really proved, and the Dove audience have really proved the fact that we really, really wanted it. And there was another door that opened up.
Well, remember this. The other thing is there's 3 answers to prayer: yes, no, and wait. And sometimes a no is the beginning of a waiting period. You know, no, not now. But, well, part of this, and we got to move on, is that I just came back from the National Association of Broadcasters, not the NRB, but the NAB. The NRB is the National Religious Broadcasters, and out of the 5 or 6 years, 5 years now that we've been on the air with the TV, we've gotten TV Station of the Year award for the LPTV status in 12, 14, and 15. And then at the NAB, which is the biggie, I mean, that's the whole broadcasting industry, or this little talk show here, the Dove FocusToday, got the Best Television Talk Show Award for LPTV, and this was awarded by the Advanced Television Broadcasting Alliance Group, which is kind of the organization within the NAB that helps us with all of our legal issues and technical issues. And they awarded the Dove the best, or the FocusToday program, the Best Television Talk Show. And I was stunned. And you were right, Steve. We didn't learn about this until a week and a half ago.
Oh, I think it was even less than that.
Yeah. And so I was going down to the NAB because I'm a part of a committee that's working on some issues that are legal issues. And I'm in this meeting all day Monday. I mean, my head's just fried from all this information I'm trying to soak up. We found out a few days before we went down that we were going to be receiving this award. And Dr. Jerry Johnson, who is the president of the NRB, came to that meeting when we were awarded this award to congratulate us, because of the 6 categories, Christian television won 3 of them. And so I was very honored to have Dr. Johnson there. Had a nice chance to meet with him one-on-one, which I haven't had that opportunity before. So something's happening at the Dove, and the only thing I can say, all of this, we're eating your cheesecake this morning. You're welcome to come by. But folks, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, this would have never happened without your believing in the mission and the vision of the Dove. If you didn't get involved in this, it just would have never happened. And I think back, you mentioned earlier, Paulina, when God gave us the vision of the television, it went away. There's a saying, there's the birth of a vision, the death of a vision, and then the resurrection of a vision. And we certainly went through all of those steps. But when I tell people that our radio audience paid for the television station, and they gave us the funds to put the TV station on the air 2 years before we signed on. When we signed on the television station March 4th, 2010, everything we had in the building was paid for. and the license and everything. Nobody, when I tell that story, people go, huh? A radio audience got the vision of a television station and helped you pay for it in advance? I said, yeah, they supported us 2 years before we ever signed on. So something's happening with the Dove, and you're a part of it, and your support makes that happen. One other little bit statistic. Last month, we had 87,000 YouTube views of what's going on with the Dove. 87,000 in 1 month. That's from all over the country and all over the world. So when you're supporting this ministry and the vision, you caught the vision of the mission of the Dove. It's there for you when you need it, but you're making it available for many who are seeing it at the right moment of the crises of their life. And I just want to say thank you for your support. And thank you for playing. I just, this day would have come and gone. It wasn't on my radar.
That's why you have a staff.
That's why we have a staff. Well, thank you. And thank you again for your support. Thank you, Steve. He Mr. News Guy. He took the big part of my dream and made it come to pass. I always fear that some network going to come hire you away.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but we're not going to let that happen. If we have to pay the 70,000 pennies.
Let's talk about that.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. Thank you again for your support.
Hi, I'm Paulina, and I work at theDove TV. Did you know that when you support theDove TV, you have a profound impact, not only in our community, but around the world? It's your continued support that takes the inspiration and hope in the programs we produce and makes them available to the thousands of people who are watching these videos online every week. Help bring encouragement and hope to our valley and beyond by making a secure online donation today at our website, thedove.us.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and wow, what a delight to have in the studio with us a couple of ladies that is representing an outstanding event coming back to Southern Oregon. I think this is their 11th annual. Yes, it is. And Oregon Women of the Word. Delighted to have with us in the studio today Nikki Johnson, she's the director, and Susie Ashbridge with the Oregon Women of the Word. And all of this is coming up next weekend at Trail Christian Fellowship. Ladies, good to see you.
Thank you.
And congratulations, 11.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And you have Sherry Rose Shepherd coming.
Yes.
I was trying to think the last time Sherry Rose was here. I think, gee, it's been a while since she's been here, and she's terrific.
She's phenomenal.
All right, first of all, tell us about Women of the Word.
Well, Women of the Word has been around for about actually 14 years now, and we just did a transition of new leadership. Jody Bormuth, who used to take it, she had it just rolling and going, and had the Southern Oregon crew just coming in from different churches. And our goal really is that we have the community churches within Southern Oregon between Josephine and Jackson County, and be able to network them, to get them into the Word, get them in prayer, be able to build sisterhood among each other's churches, and also have resources that the women can use to either for healing, hurting, drawing them into Bible studies, that kind of thing.
Well, I want to say to our viewers and listeners, by the way, they can still register, right?
Absolutely.
What do they do?
They can go online, and our website is www.oregonwomenoftheword.org. So very easy to remember.
OWOW
Yeah.
is the acronym for it, but Oregon Women of the Word. Okay. Great. Susie, good to see you. Tell us about some of the workshops you have.
Well, the workshop I'm doing is single living with passion and purpose. And I think for many singles, they miss out on an abundant life because they're busy waiting. They're waiting for that perfect mate, the new home, the child, whatever they're waiting for. They're so focused on that thing that they miss out on what God has for them today. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to get to know yourself, get to know the one who created you. Mm-hmm. That's how you find your passion and purpose, is getting to know God, because it's in knowing Him that you then get to know yourself. And you get to know the unique gifts He's made you to have.
Wonderful. And you got some other ones. You got Moms in Prayer, Single Living with Passion and Purpose, The Hope of Healing, Victory After Abuse. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. It's a heavy one, but it's a well-needed one.
Really?
Yes, very well needed.
Who's doing that one?
Her name is Rhonda Meisner. She's actually a counselor at Edgewater Christian Fellowship. They run a program called Wildflower, and they have a very unique group of women that are invited to come in on an 11th week program. So they're there for 11 weeks, and they are designed to work through that healing process that can be, which is really damaging for a lot of women through different types of abuses.
By the way, I love the title of the conference.
Yes.
Dancing on the Battlefield.
Yes.
Dancing on the Battlefield. And again, it's going to be Friday evening and all day on Saturday coming up this next weekend. Not this one, the one following. So it's the 24th and the 25th. And again, you can go online and check it out at OregonWomenOfTheWord.org. I see another one here. Troubleshooting.
Not shooting
Troubleshooting your marriage, not your man. Okay, tell me about that one. You want to talk about that?
Katie Skudstead's doing that. She's been married 36 years. She's spoken on this subject numerous times. She's a great speaker. So we look forward to hearing what she has to say.
Good.
About her workshop.
Moms in Prayer.
That's a couple of ladies who have like a 4-step kind of plan for praying for your kids. And it's a national organization, actually, and very effective. And I believe they're going to bring 2 of their children, who are now adults, and let them talk about the effectiveness of their moms praying for them.
Okay. So what's going to be Sherry's message?
She's got 3 different topics, but her Dancing on the Battlefield is how do you deal with that trial and tribulation and still keep yourself free from that bondage of sin and not to dip into, woe is me, I can't handle it, instead of leaning on the Lord, just completely leaning on the Lord with all those troubles.
Again, this has been building for quite a while, 11 years, actually 14 years, but what's so interesting to me is, have you noticed life's getting harder?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
And that's what you're here for, right? Help women. How big of a need is it for women to reach out and touch other women?
I think it's humongous. I think it can't, let me put it this way. I think there's a lot more single moms today because of the marriages and what's happening in the world today. Another big thing is what I see is I'm interactive with a lot of women that deal with the homosexual scene because they're just looking for love in all the wrong places. And they're trying to find that avenue with the Lord. And I think that this particular conference, that's what the networking is about, is to find that sisterhood, find those people that understand, find those people that have been through it and will help you get through it, and most importantly, lead them back to the Word of God.
Well, by the way, on that particular topic, we're running a 2-hour special Sunday night on that topic on the Dove TV at 7 o'clock, so you want to check that out. I read an article a couple weeks ago, and I'm just going to paraphrase it, and so maybe Susie, you can respond, but the 2 biggest emotions that women, primarily women, but men are included, but primarily women are dealing with are loneliness and fear. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I've had the privilege of facilitating codependency classes, and to see women overcome the emotional bondage of codependency, and fear is part of that. Fear blocks your ability to have faith in God, that He is the ultimate one who has control over your life. And when you give that to the Lord, then that just disappears. But loneliness is huge. It happens to marrieds, to singles, to anyone. But I think the focus is to get out of yourself and to use your gifts and talents to serve others and see what God does in your life, and it's exciting. And then you forget about your loneliness because you're busy helping somebody else. Good. And that's a wonderful thing to do.
I think that's the answer to everything. Pour yourself into somebody else. Yeah. And what's so interesting about the loneliness issue, here we are, the most connected generation on the face of the earth with all of our gadgets and things. But people are lonely. So we're connected through these things, but we're not connected to each other.
It's that emptiness inside that we're trying to fill, and the only one who can fill that is Christ.
Well, ladies, this is a great opportunity for you. And again, it's coming up the 24th and the 25th. It'll be out at Trail, beautiful facility. Sherry Rose Shepherd will be the keynote speaker. She's terrific. You talk about a motivational person. She's her own stories. But anyway, it'll be Friday evening from 5:30 to 9:30, and then all day Saturday, starting early at 7:30 all the way to 4 o'clock. I tell you what, I don't know what you're going through, but this is an investment into yourself that I think will pay great dividends, you know, especially with the various workshops that you have available. And the best way to register is online?
Yes, and if they need to do a mail-in, we also have the information online as well. And there's a contact number if they have other questions.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, and the best to you, because I can't tell you how big that is. If the phone calls and emails to the Dove are any indication of the issues that you're trying to cover here, you're spot on with what the Lord's led you guys to do. So, Susie, Nikki, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Paula, and I work at the Dove TV. Every day we get letters and emails from people who've been encouraged, blessed, and challenged by the programs on the Dove TV. But we couldn't do it without you. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to bring inspiration and hope to our community by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or call us at 541-776-5368.
All right, welcome back. Well, delighted to have in the studio. Man, these guys, are you guys on payroll here? I don't remember signing your checks. Anyway, delighted to have with us Bob Just.
Hey, very good to be
He
here.
is the premier community organizer. And we're going to run him for president, yeah. And Pastor Denny Stahl with us from Calvary Chapel in Grants Pass. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you, Perry. Congratulations
thank you.
on the great news, the wonderful award.
Yeah, really.
And these are from the big boys. These are
you know, if they ever came in and saw how we'd do it, we'd be laughed off the planet, you know. God's been good to
we
us.
saw the chewing gum and wire. It's off camera, so it's okay, Perry.
Denny, bear with me just for a moment. I want to ask him a question, political question.
Sir, yes,
Have
sir.
you ever seen a political launch for the president as lousy as Hillary's?
I'm already thinking of it in terms of plastic campaign. It's prepackaged, you know, just put it in the microwave.
Really? I cannot believe how crazy this one is. You know, here I am down there. There was 500,000 people at this conference I was in. They're all over the place. They came from all over the world. And I was there the day she announced, and so I'm listening with one ear to the buzz of the crowd. And they're all laughing. And you know there's people that are supporters that would otherwise would be voting for her, but they're all laughing. They say, this is a joke. This is a complete joke.
Yeah, she's targeting a certain crowd, and apparently the crowd she's targeting likes prepackaged campaigns. I mean,
well, you Democrats are weird.
Oh, don't say that. You just know how to hurt a guy. What can I...
Anyway, so much for all that. That's for another day. We're here to talk about Birth-Day, and this has been a great event. And Pastor Denny Stahl is with us, and I just love this whole idea. Why are you behind it?
The reason why I'm behind it is because, as you know, fatherlessness is pandemic in our nation and in our communities. I was just telling Bob as we were coming on air that we have a gal in our church who serves as a teacher's aide at an elementary school, which I won't name, in Grants Pass. Yeah. Of the 340 students who attend that school, 40, Perry, go home to a two-parent household. 40 out of the 340.
It's staggering.
It's staggering. And so what Bob is doing with Concerned Families and with Concerned Fathers Against Crime is, in my opinion, something that we all ought to support, because it addresses, I think, the consequences of fatherlessness are something we don't connect the dots typically. We don't recognize. That is one of the, two of the last three presidents that we've had in this nation were not raised by fathers.
Right. And look at where it's led to. And the thing is that when you come into, now the mothers do the elementary school for birthday, the mothers do the elementary school and the middle school. You imagine being a middle school student and you do birthday for a couple of years at middle school, and then all of a sudden you're at Grants Pass High, or Hidden Valley. We're doing Hidden Valley this year as well. And all of a sudden, there's birthday, and you're looking forward to it, and it's fun. Everybody wishes everybody a happy birthday, and it's real honoring of life. And all of a sudden, it's the fathers. 40 guys there, good, strong, you don't know they're Christian, but the spirit is there. Mm. And it's just overwhelming if you have come from a brokenness. I was telling Pastor Stahl, I woke up at Denny, by the way, is on our Pastor Advisory Council. Calvary Chapel has just been wonderful, and I'll tell you more about that later with the other churches that are on it. But I woke up this morning, we were talking in the green room, and the verse that came to me was, Romans 8:15, for you did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you received the spirit of adoption by whom we cry out, Abba, Father. And it struck me, I remember being, because of my broken home when my parents divorced when I was 5 years old, and you know the story, and we talked about it 2 weeks ago when I was on. I remember that loneliness. I was a secular child from a broken home where the world had collapsed on my head. And I suddenly realized with this verse, as a Christian for several decades, I don't have the aloneness. I'm never alone. I always have the comfort of the Holy Spirit. I always have Jesus. And I think of these kids that come to school every day from the troubled backgrounds that Pastor's talking about, and it's like aloneness. And that's why bullying takes hold, and all of these things, and life becomes so hard, no matter how hard the teachers try, no matter how hard the administrators try. Kids commit suicide, kids are troubled, kids are lonely. And you'll see on the new video we did that there's a comment, one of the young people comments on the aloneness that people feel. And all of a sudden we break that with just this appreciation of them, with gender honoring. Concerned Fathers Against Crime has been patrolling in Grants Pass for 20 years. We're loved by the community. Grants Pass High is putting our Happy Birthday Everybody sign over their front door on Monday before the Friday of May 1st when we do birthday. The excitement at Grants Pass High among the administrators, same thing with Hidden Valley, they're putting a huge Happy Birthday Everybody sign. Why is that excitement? Because they feel the love. They feel that these kids are being loved, and that's what they want.
Denny, you mentioned, my mind's thinking about, as a pastor, how do you preach on this and teach on this when possibility, a vast majority of your people sitting in your congregation are single families, single parent families. But as I said earlier today, the research will show that the two biggest emotions in America today are, number one is loneliness, and number two is fear.
Yes.
And so we're thinking, well, adults, we're all connected, but we're still lonely. Never translated that down to kids in high school that don't have.
Well, that's where it begins. Bob, I know Bob's testimony and his story, his background, and I had a similar, I was in a family that my parents divorced when I was 6 years old, and so I was raised by a stepfather. I'm also a stepfather myself, and I was sharing with Bob. I have a daughter. Fatherhood is more than just biology. She's my daughter, she's my girl, she calls me dad. I've raised her since she was 3 years old. But I'm not her biological father, but I'm her kind of adopted dad. And I think it's incumbent upon us to realize that this verse that Bob shared really captures the Father's love for people. When Paul wrote that, he said, we've not received the spirit of fear, but of adoption. It's interesting that Paul was very careful to, you ever wonder why it says, whereby we cry, Abba, Father? Why does he say Father twice? Because he was writing to a culture that spoke both Greek and Hebrew. Mm-hmm. And he wanted them to realize that the Father's love transcends culture, it transcends language, ethnicity. It is that one universal need that whether a person acknowledges or not is deeply ingrained in us. We long to be protected, we long to be loved, We long to be honored and cared for. And so that's one of the reasons why what Bob does, it resonates not only with the kids who get to be honored in that wonderful way, but in the adults who have the opportunity to see how that affects these young people and the responses. I mean, it's fun. It's 3 hours of unadulterated fun. Ice cream and chocolate syrup and old whipped cream and some, cone head hats and some noisemakers. It's a celebration to these children that you're unique, but you're not alone. Isn't that interesting? They're unique, but they're not alone.
Yeah. Right. That's our slogan. There's never been another you, and there never will be. And we make signs. And you'll see that's in the video too, but there's something about it. Those of us who have spoken publicly, and if we go to a meeting and there's 20 people, we know the difference between that and going to a meeting and there's 100 people or 200 people, because a soul is a powerful thing. This is a unique creature made by God. So when these kids see in the moms, in the middle school and the elementary schools, all these moms are there just loving on them and serving ice cream sundaes and saying, "Happy birthday. I'm really glad you're with us." And then they see the dads and say, it's powerful.
This is all coming up a week from tomorrow. And there's still time for you to get involved and help support this.
I think it's 2 weeks, isn't it? I hope it's 2 weeks.
No, 2 weeks from tomorrow. I'm sorry.
May 1st.
May 1st.
Yeah.
2 weeks from tomorrow, my brain.
Otherwise, I'd be way behind in prep.
2 weeks from
Too much cheesecake.
But we need some ice cream. And we're going to give you an opportunity to help buy some ice cream for these schools. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, right out of the break, we'll play that video so you can see it.
Right. And
then we'll have them comment it. But if you've been thinking about maybe helping them or you didn't get a chance last time, we're going to give you a phone number or in our website. And how much ice cream do you still need to buy?
Well, we're including church donations, and we're up around $2,000. We need to raise 4 to 5, and we on our website we say 7,500 because kids come back for seconds. There are banners to do. There's things, and also we'd like to have a little prime the pump for next year because we're hoping to do all the schools in our county next year, all of them.
So here's an opportunity to buy some ice cream for kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Daniel and I work at theDove TV. Compared to Portland, Seattle, and LA, Medford might be considered a small market, but at theDove, we're excited about the opportunity to make a big impact right here in our community. And you help make that happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us now by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or by phoning 541-776-5368.
Okay, we're back, and we have Pastor Denny Stahl from Calvary Chapel, Grants Pass, Bob Just from Grants Pass, Concerned Fathers and Concerned Families. Coming up May 1st is their annual birthday event. We'll explain that in detail in a moment, but I think this video will help you get a pretty good handle of what it's about. Take a look.
Remember those early days? At the time, they seemed so real, so important. And while looking back at our choice of dress or hairstyle might make us laugh now, the truth is those days profoundly shaped our lives. And even though the times have changed, kids really haven't. Most young people today are still trying desperately to fit in, while others are trying desperately to stand out. Yet all of them have a common need, a need to know they are loved and that their life has value. So what if there was a simple way to tell thousands of young people exactly that? Well, there is, and we're doing it. It's called Birthday. On this day, we celebrate the unique gift of everyone's life, and we do it at schools throughout the area. Moms at the elementary and middle schools, dads at the high schools, all reaffirming kids with simple acts of kindness and ample supplies of ice cream. The message of Birthday is a simple one. There has never been another you, and there never will be.
Everyone likes ice cream, so the ice cream thing was pretty cool, and we're just talking about how we all have different perspectives now on birthdays, and how we can picture ourselves as unique individuals, and not just like, oh, I'm another year older, I get cake, whatever.
this culture is the most lonely, most depressed culture that has ever been. It's definitely a good thing to remember, that my life is very valuable. I am important. I have worth.
They live in a world right now where everybody wants something from them. So if someone's giving something to you, they expect that they have to give something back. And I think that they were surprised that here were a bunch of leaders in their community, older men, that were giving to them without asking anything back.
By our very presence, we also tell them that they have a purpose in this life, that we care about how they're doing, and that we've got the ice cream to prove it. So help us create a joy-filled party this May 1st where every life counts and no one is turned away. Find out more about how you can help at birthday.org. Birthday. It's simple, it's fun, and we've got the smiles to prove it.
There you go, Birthday, and you can go to birth-day.org. You can support them there, or let me give you a phone number, because they still need to raise a couple $1,000 for ice cream. No, when's the last time you bought ice cream for kids, okay? Here's the phone number is 541-299-2990. All right, got that? 541-299-2990. You can call them. And if maybe you can just donate the price of an ice cream cone. What is it, $3 now for an ice cream cone? Depends on where you get it.
Well, we're figuring about $1 a student, and we have a couple $1,000s to raise. So, yeah. And I'm hoping that some businesses, and I'd love people to donate in the name of their church. I mean, I think we really want to do an ad, and I'd love to be able to list, more churches the better that join in what we're doing.
All right, this is all coming up May 1st. So, and they're going to do it. How many schools?
15 schools so far. One is actually asked to get in, and we've had to turn 3 away because we just, organizationally and financially, we just had to
handle. Yeah. All right, so it's going to all be done May 1st at noontime, and they're just going to have dads out there loving on kids. It doesn't get any better than that. Handing them ice cream. 299-2990. Danny, you said something during the break. I think you ought to just expound on that a little bit about the loneliness in kids, even in your own congregation, and how impacting that is. But talk about that. Give us your heart on that.
Perry, in coordination with Child Evangelism Fellowship, which does a great job. Jim Cunningham in Josephine County does such a wonderful job. Clubs all around the community, tied directly between a church and a school. Oregon has this wonderful, wonderful privilege, a wonderful responsibility. Our school system has to grant time to students for these kinds of events. So we have the Jesus Pizza Club at Calvary Chapel every Thursday.
They get a lot of kids there.
And those guys can eat. I want to tell you, you should see the pizza that they pile on their plates. They come up to our fellowship hall. We've got 80-some students registered who come every Thursday, and we share the gospel. We've had 5 of these young people give their hearts to Jesus this year. Wow. A number of them. We invite them every week to write anonymously or with a name a prayer request. And our volunteers tell us, Perry, that there's a constant theme in those prayer requests. And loneliness is really a part, the sense of alienation, that I'm alone at home, my parents are predisposed to other things, I'm alone at school, no one really knows who I am, I don't have, and so they confide in us these deep felt needs, and so that, the kinds of things that concerned families are doing addresses those kinds of needs. So I can tell you that it's a great connection. The other thing I was sharing with you when we were off camera was the fact that we've had 6 families in our church, in the last 6 months who have lost a child or a grandchild to suicide. Some of them were older, a 30-year-old man in Colorado, a 21-year-old son in Southern California, but we also have had some teenagers. And this is just evidence of how far loneliness and the sense of alienation, I mean, you have to be pretty alone in the world to even entertain the idea of taking your own life. But then when these children do it, my goodness. And so I believe that this is timely. I believe the idea of championing these kids at this difficult season in their life is really good.
We care, you know. Just
well, someone does. Somebody cares.
Yeah,
and then
we go into the schools, and I'll tell you a story that I told last time we were on talking about birthday with you, Perry, but it's worth repeating. One of our leaders who did Grants Pass High last year had one of the students come up to him and say, "This is the best day of her life." And he was so taken aback at that statement. How can that be, you know? He was relaying that story to some of our Concerned Fathers members, and as he was telling the story, he broke down in tears because it dawned on him, you know, how much pain and loneliness and alienation, that is the perfect word.
/ bullying.
Alienation.
That's one of the things that, you know, that gets exploited. When a child senses their aloneness, they're vulnerable.
Right, they're vulnerable. And so all of a sudden, there are all these dads at the high school and moms in the middle school and lower school saying, hey, we are there for you. And you know, there's never been another you, and there's never going to be. You're it.
All right, we're going to run out of time. I've got about 3 minutes. I just want to say, our viewers and listeners, you feeling the tug of the Lord to help these guys, they need to raise another couple of $1,000 for ice cream. That's what it's, ice cream, whipped cream, and chocolate.
And
chocolate.
M&Ms.
Sprinkles and all that stuff.
We do it right.
All right. You can go to the special phone number, 541-299-2990. Got that? You can probably write that on your sleeve. It'll wash out later. 541-299-2990. Or you can go to the website, birth-day.org, and let's help them. And they're going to be going into about 15 schools in Josephine County this year. I can't wait till this spills over into Jackson County, or wherever the Lord takes it.
Wherever the Lord takes it.
This definitely needs to be exported.
This is the excitement connected to this, Perry. I can see. I've told everyone this is going to be, you know, this is going to go somewhere.
Basically, it's these volunteer dads coming in and loving on these kids at noontime and giving them free ice cream and say, you're unique and there's nobody else like you.
Right, and moms at the elementary school. And you know, we can't underestimate, I mean, on the video, I don't know if this video, but one of our videos, there's a little girl running around at an elementary school age, running around saying, happy birthday, everybody. And you know what's funny? Last year at Grants Pass High, the staff came out and said, can we have some ice cream too? And I said, happy birthday. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
because it's everybody's birthday. It's not just kids.
And alienation is not just a childhood issue.
Right.
It is a people issue.
Right.
Pastor Jenny, I want you to pray. We got about a minute and a half left, but just pray for this day, pray for the event, and thank you for your heart and supporting Pastor in this and leading the way for that. Go ahead and pray.
Father in heaven, we're so grateful and glad to have the opportunity to be here on KDove Radio and television. Lord, to truly link with Perry's audience, to partner together with them, Lord, to see your work accomplished. We're so grateful for the recognition from Perry of the importance of this wonderful effort that Concerned Families has taken. I thank you for Bob Just, his leadership team, his board. Thank you for all the volunteers, Lord, who step up to the plate and serve that ice cream and have fun with the students. Lord, we do pray that you will raise the needed funds to meet not only our needs, but to really, Lord, show us your approval and your blessing. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to recognize these children, to reach out to them, and to just truly validate their lives. Thank you in Jesus' name.
All right, the number, 541-299-2990, 541-299-2990. Call and help them buy some ice cream.
And birth.
Hi, I'm Jim, and I work at the Dove TV. Every weekday between 6 and 8 a.m., our award-winning news and sports team bring you the best morning show around. It's live, it's honest, and it's a whole lot of fun. And you help make it happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to air local programs that share your voice by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us.